Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of StarCraft, where we watch oGsTheSTC forget to send his SCVs to mine. That's not a good way to start off a game whatsoever. Anyways, so the players we have, oGsTheSTC and SeleCT. This is the second game in the four-part series between these two players, where they fight it off Terran versus Terran the entire time. So if you have not already watched game number 1, there are annotations at the very end of this video, which you can watch all of the other ones, or you can just go to my channel, youtube.com/StarCraft, and watch them there. So make sure you know what's going on for the entire series here, as we have SeleCT changing his mind at the last second, wanted to put down a depot maybe over here, but instead dropped it behind his gas and minerals there. Not too big of a deal, although we can see how that is affected just a little bit, the timing. Look, you see that, well, no, it's actually still a little bit ahead. That's kind of interesting there. The STC finishing up his depot, which is right beside the gas. Obviously, he can lower that down, so that's not going to be an issue. So, anyways, the map is Scrap Station, which you can see fairly big base area. You've got that giant area over here. Got to drop a couple depots. Obviously, you have a couple spots just out of visual range of the mineral line, which are very vulnerable to drops, anything of that nature. You do have one island expansion here. We might see some action on this because we are having a Terran versus Terran. This expansion might seem a little more appealing, but at the same time, it's going to be pretty darn risky because the bases are so close. Probably one or both of these players are going to be thinking of going towards, a 1-1-1 build where you'll have a rush to Banshees, do some harassment, try to contain your opponent, then get your expansion and push out. Maybe through the destructible rocks here. That is not too uncommon whatsoever. Also, we do have some additional expansions down here in the middle of the map. Two ones blocked off by rocks, and then one high yield here. Blue SCV just went past these one Xel'Naga watchtower in the middle of the map. There is, of course, another one right here. This kind of lends itself as a defensive means right here. Well, that was terrible English. This is very good for defensive purposes because you're able to see what's coming in on both areas. Haha, English is hard. So this SCV is almost dead here. Marine is chasing it around. The STC otherwise going with a fairly standard build right now. We did have the depot at 10, barracks at the end of 12, the gas at 13, orbital command at 16. We see the SCV just went down for the STC over here in SeleCT's base. Right now, factory is going down. Let's actually take a look and see if he saw that factory yet. No, he sure did, so he knows what's going on up here in this base. Probably going to be expecting some aerial pressure here. You see he is throwing down a reactor. This would be a very good counter for it as long as you have the scan energy available to counter Banshees. You could, of course, also throw down an engineering bay, drop a couple turrets. Very cost-effective there in the early to mid-game, as pretty much Banshees can just be shut down simply by the presence of them. You can just really knock down a lot of their areas of attack. Because those turrets, man, it's not like StarCraft 1. These things will mess your units up. That's just a little tip from Anaris to you newer players. Don't go throwing a Banshee against a missile turret, because it will not end well for you. Starport going down indeed, so SeleCT is going to be going the Banshee route most likely. Expansion going down for the STC. Now this is kind of a risky maneuver here. You see he doesn't have a whole lot in the way of anti-air, but he is throwing down 2 additional barracks. Depot at the very back. This is going to help him keep an eye on the area that would otherwise be covered, so he'll know if any drops are coming down. Good idea to keep these barracks over here, as it will give vision of this part of the map. And so, yeah, both players are still kind of building up here. You don't really experience too much action in the early game on this map. This is pretty much about as early as it's going to get, and that was not even worth it. That Hellion did absolutely nothing right there. Usually what you'll have happen is you'll have some Hellion harassment, maybe a couple Marines going back and forth on your ramp, but on the whole, not too much harassment. I mean, like I said, it's just such a long distance between these two bases unless you break down these rocks. So the STC is still going to be fairly vulnerable for a while here. You can see he's a little bit delayed in the stim pack compared to his opponent, who is getting the Banshee about 50% complete right now. Engineering bay going down as well right here. Might decide to throw down some turrets in the missile line, or the mineral line rather than missile line. Not sure what that is. Good idea to keep the defensive units here. As you saw earlier, you can really catch your opponent off guard. You saw how quickly that Hellion died. You had the one Marine out there as kind of, bait. Also provides the vision for the units that are in the, in behind the vision blockers there. Barracks going down on the reactor, wants to be able to field some Marines there for defensive purposes. Obviously, if this Banshee fails, the Terran player over here is going to know that his opponent's economy is a little bit weaker compared to himself because of the expansion. You know, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens here. Now, this is nice. The Marines are parked way back here and kiting away, actually, able to pull off one kill right there already, dropping down the depot just to make sure he can have maximum maneuverability. We see the Banshee is currently at 2 kills, able to get a third. Just dancing back and forth right now, doing a pretty good job of doing that. A couple Marine reinforcements are coming back here as well. Although, at this point, there's not a lot they can really do with the way this Banshee's going back and forth. That being said, you can see it's very low in hit points now, 8 left, so he is going to retreat that back. He wants to make sure he does not lose that Banshee. It's pretty hefty investment there, considering the point in the game, and considering how much gas he's used otherwise. Look at that, he's already got a Raven out here. Point defense drone will be very good. Obviously, we do have 2 tech labs here, so we're probably going to see some Marauder action. 2 additional barracks going down as well as a starport. May even decide to get his own Raven here to cancel out the blue one. We'll have to see. Taking a look at the income tab right now, you can see that oGsTheSTC is clearly ahead because of this expansion at 34 to 28. Obviously, both players are running off of 2 geysers right now, but I think he's actually missing an SCV. Is he? I can't actually tell. You can tell there's spiking up just a little bit there. Oh well, that is okay. As we were watching the game here, I guess it's just kind of spiking around. I guess that's just so weird that it hangs out. This one kind of goes up a little bit, and this one not quite so much. Looking at the match here, we can see not too much is going on at this point, and this isn't entirely unexpected. I mean, the initial Banshee attack, he's still trying to work it off just a little bit. He's got 4 kills, brought it back now, fully repaired, good to go. Going to actually try to get a little bit of map control taken over the Zelnaga watchtower. Obviously, the STC bringing his Marauder back does not want to lose it there, reinforcing with a few infantry. Blue is going to hold it with 1 SCV hanging out there, doesn't want to keep his whole army there in the middle of the map. As we see, the STC is actually moving a factory down here. This might actually just be used for scouting. Couple depots. Actually, these depots are somewhat vulnerable to... Oh, man, the Banshee is taking some damage. Look at that. 3 shots from the turret. Oh, forcing the cancellation of 2 supply depots. There goes the SCV building the one there in the back of the base. This Banshee is doing some economic damage indeed. Look at that. Many SCVs are going down. 2 more right there. Now going for the ones getting the gas. This will actually hurt the Terran player a lot. He does not want to have this happen. Do you hear some stim? There's the medevacs healing up. Will they be able to get this in time? It's hard to say, man. Oh, yes, at the last second. It does explode into the abyss below. The STC is bringing over a dropship here. 6 Marines going to maybe go into the back of the base. Now, it's important to note that actually SeleCT is pretty occupied right now with this factory scouting around. So his forces are all hanging out right there, as we have 1 Marauder getting ready to destroy the rocks as the drop comes down here in the back of the base. Of course, SeleCT coming with the quick response time, bringing his SCVs probably, well, maybe not down to his natural expansion, we'll see, but definitely some Marines here are going to be able to get this depot for sure. But not before running out here. Oh, it looks like he's just going to get that 1 depot, and now SeleCT has responded with his own infantry. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a huge problem for SeleCT in just a couple of minutes. All these infantry right here. Of course, with the dropship still in play in the back of the map, he can use this as a 2-pronged attack. Once these rocks are gone, this is going to be so much trouble for SeleCT. You see right now, the sheer production power of the STC is just way, way better than his opponent. When you consider just the income right now and everything else, he's had that expansion for so much longer. Here he comes now, getting ready to do the first engagement. The forces are indeed split. They're going to meet at the top of the ramp and now engage. It's going to be pretty close right now. You can see the point defense turn is going down, blocking down a lot of the Marauders. I don't know if this is actually going to work still for SeleCT, though. He does not have siege mode on the siege tank, and he's just running out of numbers at this point, man. He just does not have the infantry to deal with this. And now the STC is in the base, and this is going to be so much trouble. oGS even bringing down a mule. All right, well, that is a very interesting choice there. And look at that. Sure enough, there's the Marines in the back of the base doing some damage to the mineral line. Very expected there. Meanwhile, Select losing his SCVs over here at the National Expansion. More Marines are coming in from the STC, and there's the GG from Select, giving him the second game. So good stuff for the STC. Let's go on to game number 3 and see what happens next.